Welcome back, guys, to the Sovereign Renaissance. In today's episode, we're going to be diving and having a discussion on what happens when the narcissist fails to control you and the narrative they set. We're going to be looking at the Ricochet Effect, surviving the malignant narcissist last stand. When a master of manipulation finally loses their grip on your reality, the energy they spent trying to bind you doesn't just vanish, it rebounds. This is the moment the cage shatters and the architect is forced to live within the walls they built for you. When a malignant narcissist realizes they can no longer control you, they pivot to controlling how everyone else sees you. This is a strategic retreat from the internal battlefield of your mind to the external battlefield of your reputation. In their worldview, if they cannot own you, they must destroy your credibility so that your escape or your truth carries no weight. The smear campaign as a defensive shield. The moment you assert your individuality or your sovereignty, the narcissist feels an existential threat, also known as the narcissistic injury. To manage their own shame, they project it onto you. Preemptive striking. They often start whispering to mutual friends or colleagues even before you leave. By the time you speak up, they have already framed you as the unstable or angry or abusive person. The victim pivot. They will adopt the persona of the weary, long suffering Mayatar who tried everything to help you, but you were just simply too toxic or ill to be saved. Strategic triangulation. When a narcissist recruits flying monkeys, previously mentioned in our videos, people who are manipulated into doing the narcissist dirty work. Manufacturing consensus. By getting others to agree with their version of events, the narcissist creates a false reality. If three people or more think you're the problem, it feels more true than if it's just the narcissist saying it. Information starvation. They will block your access to social circles or professional networks, ensuring you are isolated while they saturate those same spaces with their narrative. The reversal of roles, also known as Darvo. A primary tactic in controlling the narrative is Darvo, deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. The swap, if you confront them with a specific lie, they will deny it ever happened. They will attack your character for even bringing it up, and then claim that your confrontation is actually an act of abuse against them, pathologizing your reactions. They will poke you and prod you until you have a visible emotional reaction, then point to that reaction as proof of your instability to anyone who's watching. Narrative revisionism. They begin to create a history that never existed. They will take your vulnerabilities, things you told them in confidence, and weaponize them as evidence of why you are currently failing or why your judgment can't be trusted. And then we have the good old days myth. They may tell others how much they miss the old you, implying that your recent boundary setting is actually a sign of a mental breakdown or a dark change in personality. How the narrative finally collapses. The narrative of a malignant narcissist is very high maintenance. It requires everyone involved to stay on script. Over time, two things usually happen. Number one, inconsistency. Because the narrative is built on lies and projections, the details eventually stop matching up. Number two, the observer fatigue. People eventually notice that the narcissist always has a crazy ex, a betraying friend, or a difficult family member. The common denominator eventually becomes visible. When they fail to control you, they try to make their world a cage. The most effective countermove is often radical non engagement, refusing to audition for a part in the play they are writing. When a malignant narcissist adopts a strategy of radical non engagement, it is really a healthy boundary. Instead, it is typically a calculated weaponization of silence and absence. While for a healthy person, non engagement is about peace. For a narcissist, it is a tactical discard or a silent treatment designed to regain the upper hand. Here is what's actually happening when they flip this switch. Number one, the ghost power play. When the narcissist realizes that their arguments, threats, and smear campaigns are no longer getting a rise out of you, by suddenly cutting off all contact and engagement, they attempt to create a vacuum of information, manufacturing anxiety. They want you to wonder what they are thinking, what they are planning, and why they eventually stop caring. The power of the void. They are betting on that sudden silence will cause you to panic and eventually reach out to them, thereby handing back the control you just fought to reclaim. The victimhood of the silent. They frame their non engagement to others as a noble retreat. The narrative, they tell mutual contacts. I've had to completely cut them off out of for my own mental health, or I'm just staying quiet to take the high road. And then there's the reverse gaslighting. By refusing to engage with your attempts to resolve issues or settle any legal or logistical matters, they make you look like the aggressor if you keep on trying to communicate. Number three, starving the source. Narcissists usually require supply. This comes in forms of attention, be it positive or negative. If you stopped providing the good supply, adoration, they usually pivot to negative supply, conflict in this case. If you have successfully neutralized your reactions, the gray rock method, they may use non engagement as a way to starve the connection entirely. The calculated discard. This is often the final stage. They quit before they can be fired. It allows them to maintain the internal delusions that they were the one who walked away from you. Number four, the weaponized of inaccessibility. In practical matters like co parenting, work projects, or shared finances, radical non engagement becomes obstructionism, passive aggression. They won't say no, they simply won't respond. This forces you to work twice as hard to handle shared responsibilities while they remain blameless because they didn't do anything. The mirror effect. The irony of a narcissist using radical non engagement is that It is often a direct imitation of the boundaries you set. However, there is a fundamental difference. What appears to be your non-engagement looks like aimed prote- is actually aimed at your for is actually aimed at protection and healing versus their non-engagement, which is aimed at punishment and manipulation. And how do you handle this situation should you ever come across such? The best response to a narcissist's silence is to accept the gift. If they have stopped engaging, it is the perfect window to solidify your own boundaries, block any channels they've closed, and move forward without the fog of their constant narrative shifting. In the end, the malignant narcissist's greatest failure is their own revelation. They didn't just lose control of your destiny, they proved you were the one holding the power all along. The cage is empty, the architect is finally exposed, and for the first time, the silence isn't just a vacuum, it's your freedom. The script has been burned, and the theater is dark as the narcissist retreats into the shadows of a failed conquest. Remember this: the moments they couldn't tell you who you who you was, the moment they couldn't tell you who you were was the moment you truly became untouchable. Your individuality and sovereignty isn't just a win, it's the end of their magic and manipulation. And if you liked today's video, please do like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, goodbye.